So what we'll do next is we'll put in the sanitary sewer run. So our sanitary connection to our building is going to come out the back here, and it's going to run down the side of the building and eventually run out over here. So what we'll do is we'll first kind of put in the horizontal layout, and then we'll go through and adjust the vertical. So I'm going to start with just a line string. So we'll just go to CAD, we'll create line string. We're going to name it sanitary sewer. We're going to put it on a layer called utility sanitary sewer. In this case, we're going to use the 6-inch ductile iron layer. We could just put it on a generic layer, but we're going to put it on this ductile iron because that's what we're going to use for takeoff later on. Don't worry about the line style. We're going to go ahead and click OK to this. And then we're going to start at the back corner of the building. Now we want to come in. We know that our connection is about somewhere in here. I think it's like 35 feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to do a offset from segment. I'm going to pick the building, which is this one, and the distance along, like I said, is somewhere in here. I believe it's like, yeah, so it's 36 feet. Let's make it 35. So I believe that's what the value was. The offset's going to be 0. Elevation we're going to set to our finished floor, which is 455, and we'll actually minus 4, so we're going to actually set it at 451. So we'll hit save on that. Then we will come out here and we'll do the same thing. We want to go perpendicular out of the building, so we're going to right click and we will use perpendicular to segment again, and I'll click on that point, and oops, let's try that again. Let's add after the segment, and we're going to add. We're going to right click and we're going to go from offset from segment. Just make sure we pick that line there. And now it's asking us for a distance. The distance along again is going to be 35. And our offset is going to be arbitrary. It's going to be wherever we want it to be. And we're going to drop it in right here so we can clear our electrical pad. The elevation we're not going to be concerned about right now, so I'm going to hit save. Now we want to go in a series of 90s. So I'm going to come in here and choose a deflection with perpendicular to the right. All right. And you can see that's going to bring us out over here. Now we want to be outside of this curb, and it's asking us for a length. So we could arbitrarily pick it, or what we could do is we can use our measure command and measure basically from here, and we want to go to perpendicular of segment, and we want to go perpendicular to this. So we got 45 feet there. We want to be at least 2 feet off of that curb, so let's make it 47. So we'll go back to our edit line string and we'll put in a distance of 47. Again, the elevation is not going to matter right now. We'll hit save. Now we're going to come down here and do the same thing. We're going to go back to our measure command, and we are going to measure from the end of this line, and we're going to go perpendicular to the center line of our road down here that we're tying into. So I'm going to right click, go perpendicular to this segment here. It'd be the horizontal line or the CAD line, either one's the same. And we've got 145.7. So we'll go back to our edit line string, and we'll put in a distance for this one of 140, what do we say, 145? 145.7. So 145, let's just make 145.5. Elevation, we're not going to worry about, we're going to save that. And then we're just going to come down here and we're going to go to this endpoint. Actually, let's go ahead and put in one more. We're going to do a perpendicular to the left this time, and that one's going to be basically in the middle of these 2 points here. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say I'll go from here. Actually, let's back up. let's just pick that point, and we'll pick that point to be right about in the middle. And the elevation for this one we are going to assign, we're going to say we want it from the surface of our original ground, and we want that to be the middle of point to point. So I'm just going to pick a point here and a point there. It's going to pick up that surface, which will be close enough for what we're trying to accomplish, and save. Okay, and then we're going to come out here to the end, and this time we're just going to do a straight segment, and we're just going to pick that point there, and that assigns that elevation at that point. Now we're going to cancel that, and we're going to kick this down 4 feet. We're going to come back over here, and we're going to kick this one down 4 feet, so we'll go -4 on that one, and we'll hit save. Okay, now you can see that we've got some work to be done on the vertical. All right, so we're going to work our way back. We're going to put in some minimums. What we're going to do is I'm going to go to the vertical tab, and at this point right here, okay, I'm actually going to put in, we want to determine the slope, so we want to determine the outgoing slope. So I'm going to say outgoing slope. The distance along, we're actually going to make it just a little bit more, so I'm going to go 344, and the outgoing slope is going to be a -0.5%. So when I hit save, you can see that it drops this down. Now I'm also going to do something here as well, as I'm going to close this for a second. We can close this, and I'm going to right click and go to my profile viewer. We'll split this so we can see it, and we'll add the surfaces in for our finish design. We'll throw it a rock and our original ground. Okay, so we can kind of see what's happening in here. So we got a drop here. We're going across the road. We're good there. Okay, so we're going to come back and we're going to edit this, and we're going to add in another VPI. So up in here, I'm just going to grab that corner, and I'm going to make this 22, and we'll set the outgoing slope here to also be, we'll just say minus, let's go -2%. Okay. So then what we'll do is, now that we have that one in there, you can see that we're coming down here, we're got a drop here, we're coming across the road here. What we want to do is put another drop up in here. So what we want to do is we want to put a VPI at this point right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the incoming slope to be a -1.5. So when we do that, you can see now we're dropping down that segment, basically another drop manhole. And then the rest of this is 1.5 through here. Now if we wanted to lower this, let's say we want to make it a little steeper, we just hit cancel, and let's say we can set it to 2%, which maybe, you know, what our maximum is, or maybe 3% is our maximum. So, or even 5%. So if we put in 5%, we can hit save. You can see that it's going to change the slope of that run from here all the way out, coming out through here. So it all depends on what the parameters are and what you need to accomplish. We'll go ahead and we'll leave it that way. Also, remember, we are crossing this line segment here, this storm sewer. So what we also want to do is take a look to make sure that we've got clearance, which, as you can see here in the 3D view, we definitely do, because we're dropping and then we're definitely below that storm sewer there. All right, we may want to take another look at this when we bring in the other utilities such as gas and water. But for now, the sanitary is shown, and it's kind of how we can show it here. So on a little bit closer inspection of our sanitary sewer, we can see that we're pretty close to our storm sewer. So what we want to do is we want to slide this down a little bit. So to do that, we're just going to edit that line. So because we did it with the deflections, it makes it fairly easy for us to edit. So if we go to horizontal, we're going to come over here, and I'm going to change this location here. So we're just going to left click again. I'm going to go nearest to line, and I'm just going to slide it down into here. So it moves that down. Now we've got our separation from there. We can check and measure from this point to perpendicular to the segment there, and we've got about 8 feet of horizontal clearance there. So we're definitely good shape by putting it there. Now the only other issue with that is if we go back to the edit line string, you'll see on the vertical is that it's adjusted our slopes. So if we look at this line, I'll close this for a second and open up a profile view, and we'll split that. You can see our slopes aren't representing drop inverts. So what we want to do is go back to edit this line, and we're just going to move these guys over. So this one here, we're just going to slide him down and put him there. We'll save that. And then this one here we'll make at 215.23. So let's go to 215.23. Slide him over back. And now again, we probably could be a little bit more realistic with that by putting it, the invert in and the width of the manhole if we, so choose. So from here, again, if we look at the horizontal point is here, so our vertical point is there, and we're just going to slide that over to there, and we'll slide this over to here, and then we'll just add a tenth. We'll make that 0.36. Okay, so that makes our adjustment to our sanitary. Now the last thing we'll do is we'll put our storm sewer structures in. Now that we have that, so we'll go back to our drafting tab. We'll insert block. We'll come in, we'll pick sanitary manhole. Make sure we put it on the proper layer. So we'll go to utilities here, sanitary sewer manhole. The location for the first one will be at the end of this. The elevation will be at the end of that line as well. The rotation and the scale don't matter so much, but we'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and insert that in. And so scale should be 5, so let's go ahead and do that again. So we'll do elevation there, pick that point there, we'll put a 5 in for the scale, 5 in for the scale, and we'll insert that one. So we do have one, it's just small, so we'll have to adjust that scale. So we'll come over here and do the same thing here, pick twice, and insert that one. Then we'll come down here, we're going to put one at the break right there. Again, from that point, we're going to insert that one, and then we'll just drop one here at the end, which actually is probably where our existing is, but we're not showing that in this example, but that's there. Now to fix this other one, let's go back over here. It's just a matter of selecting it, going to the properties, and changing the scale in the X and the Y. And now we've got that scaled out. So now we've got our sanitary, our storm. Next we will add in our gas, water, and power. So we'll do them separately.